In this video, it is the Redcat Custom Hauler. It's time to put some lights on it. Redcat makes this 18 LED plug-and-play system where it should just bolt right in and give us lights all around this truck. I'm excited to get it out, excited to light this truck up. Let's get started by figuring out what's actually really in here. Ooh, pretty small little controller, that's nice, doesn't take up a lot of space. We have an instruction manual, which I'll definitely need, a bunch of zip ties and adhesive strips, and then one mess of LEDs. So we definitely have our work cut out for us. It shows 2 white, so I'm assuming headlights, 4 red, a whole bunch of amber, which should be down here on the side, and then 2 small white ones. So I am excited to see where all this goes. Laying it all out, this is a lot. There's this plug, which is super interesting because it actually has a plug on both ends. It actually has an end on both sides. This is supposed to be, I think, more for the body side. We have a couple Ys and of course the controller harness. Step 1, I think, is taking the body off. I'm going to go ahead and mount the control unit, plug everything in, and actually make sure that it works as I think it should. The kit does provide you 2 different Y harnesses, and what you do is you unplug channel 1, plug it into 1, output from it goes right back there, goes over, and then the other output goes over here. Same thing for channel 2. You really can't screw it up. There's only one place for the initial servo and the ESC to plug into, and then both the lines out of it should be the same, plugging back into the receiver, plugging into here. Now, moment of truth, we're going to turn the controller on, we're going to turn the vehicle on. Oh, we have lights. We have lights. So again, I have some headlight and some marker lights, which is what we should be using up here for the cab. Back here, I have a whole bunch of marker lights, and I have 2 lights which are out. And what you can see is that if I go from neutral and I go into reverse, the backup lights turn on, which is great. And when I'm off, I have brake lights. That looks just about good. When I accelerate, the brake lights go off. So now we know. And this is color coded. So they did put white heat shrink on the white LEDs, red on the red LEDs, yellow on the amber or the yellowish kind of turn marker lights on the side. Same here for the front. They are actually white and yellow color coordinated. So that is great. We now know all the LEDs work. They all work in a way that we want. Now we just need to plug it all in. I'm going to start by actually mounting this right here. There's enough space on the plate right next to the ESC and receiver. If you really are finicky, you could probably move the ESC and receiver over a little bit more to let it sit in there just a little bit better. But double-sided 3M tape that it provides, that will go there. And then we're going to start routing these LEDs through the chassis. If the truck flipped over, you can start laying out the wires a little bit differently. The front kit that I know I'm going to leave till later, that's just hanging up over here. This rear kit, we have 1 strand here with all side marker lights for the 1, 2, 3, 4 side markers down one side. The other kit has, again, 4 marker lights, but it's tied in more to some of these rear lights as well with that back plug. In order to mount the LEDs, you do need a 1.5mm bit in order to get all of these plugs out. I'm going to start by coming down this side. Looks like it might be a little bit easier. And I am going to work on making sure that I tie these wires. You can choose if you want them on the bottom side of the chassis down here, or if you want them on the top. I think I'm going to go to the top because of how much this truck is probably going to be sitting on the frame. So I don't want wires underneath here that it will then sit on. This is clearly a system designed just for it. They bolt in absolutely beautifully with all the dimensions correct and everything here. I don't know if I've had one that's been this well made before. Really kudos to the folks that put this together. Putting the LEDs all along the side here, actually really simple, and the brackets and everything clearly made in for them, like I mentioned earlier. When you get to the rear here, there is just 3 holes back here, and I was really confused at first. How in the heck am I supposed to make these mount? They don't have the same bracket. Well, it turns out the truck actually did come with a whole bag of little brackets with little screws. And that's what we need back here for these 6 lights, 3 on either side. And I believe that's what we need for the cab itself. So good news, keep this. There's a whole bag of these that came in with the vehicle from the factory. That's what you need. Something for you to consider while you're trying to tidy up all the wiring here is think about when you need to take the bed off of the chassis. So when you do this, you do leave parts like this that come off the side behind, and all of these lights are in the body itself. So you can tie it to stuff up here, you can tie it to edges around on the body itself, but careful how much, if you are trying to tidy up this wiring, careful how much that you may attach it to the chassis, because you may then make it harder for you to get the body off. I did run wires in here next to the tire, but I ran it up in that little fender well next to it, and I tried to use these clips like this in order to help guide it and make sure that it wasn't too high or too low and would interfere with the tires. I'm going to now transition over to the cab. Again, remember the yellow are the corner marker lights, the white is the headlights. It looks like we're going to probably want them to all come in on one side, plug in, and then traverse across to the other side of the body. Looking in here, 1, 2, 3, 4, pretty obvious where it goes, and then we're going to need to use those same plastic clips that came with the ready to run vehicle in order to get those mounted up. And here, pretty simple again with just the 4 headlights up here. I just need to tie these wires, clean them up a little bit, trying to make sure that I leave enough space here. A little bit worried that maybe it gets caught in the suspension, but wanting to make sure I leave enough space so that I can actually get the body off if I do need to get in here. I think we're there, so I'm going to finish a couple last minute zip ties, and then we're going to fire it up and see how the lights look. Oh, look at that. Headlights, marker lights all down the side. Under power, the lights go off. Reverse, the lights come on. Oh, that's awesome. That looks amazing. Definitely taking this whole truck to another level. So my tip to you is definitely this light kit. Plug and play, took all the guesswork out of it, putting lights onto this custom hauler. Do recommend, 10 out of 10. Definitely, if you have the custom hauler, it's gonna have to have lights on it, right? So more importantly, when you're planning to put the lights on, I do recommend highly that you do the airbag servo mod first, because you do have to get the body off, you do have to get the bed off, all of that kind of stuff. So that is a noticeable amount of work if you already have all of these lights on. So the airbag setup, definitely do that first before the lights. If you need to know how to do that, I have a video in my custom hauler playlist that should be popping up right here to your right. So thank you for watching. We'll see you over there. Goodbye.